Yo, what's going on? And welcome back to some Duel Links as we continue the KC Cup trying to get to duel level max. And today we are using what is probably the best deck in the KC Cup. There might be some contention there, but Shiranuis are real strong. They win pretty quickly, and it's just like a ridiculous deck. Now, the guy that makes this deck so crazy is Mr. Spectral Sword himself, who has been recently semi-limited. Granted, you only really ran 2 of him before, because you don't really need that many. But it takes out a few extra cards that you could have used, like Treacherous Trap Hole and stuff. But he allows you to synchro from your graveyard, using him and another zombie type non-tuner in your graveyard. Now, the deck recently got a little bit better with the addition of Ballista Squad, so you have to tribute a monster and then target one card your opponent controls and destroy it. Now, if you have a Spectral Sword on the field, he can't activate his graveyard effect to synchro summon the same turn he was sent to the graveyard. So with Ballista Squad, you can easily have him on the field, tribute him off during your opponent's turn to stop your opponent from being able to summon monsters or attack you, and then he's set up so on your turn you can actually make use of him. Now, this deck is super consistent because we're running 3 Solitaire and 3 Squire. Now, Solitaire, you contribute one zombie type monster, special summon 1 zombie tuner with 0 defense. So if you just have a Solitaire on the field, or if you just have a Solitaire in your hand, you could summon him, tribute himself to summon Spectral Sword, and then if you have any back row to protect your Spectral Sword for next turn, you can maybe even let it die, but as long as you keep yourself alive, that's what really counts. And then next turn you can synchro from the grave with your Solitaire and your Spectral Sword. Now, Shiranui Squire over here, just simply when you summon it, you can special summon 1 Spectral Sword from your hand or deck. So this guy's really easy to get your plays started. You will summon him, immediately a Spectral Sword will come onto the field from your deck, and then you can go into your first Synchro Summon. And then finally, we are running a Spirit Master. He lets you special summon 1 Shiranui from your hand or graveyard. So if you already have the Spectral Sword in your hand, then you can use him for that, as well as his effect when he gets banished, he will destroy 1 card on the field. Now, each of these guys have a pretty good effect when they get banished, except for Spectral Sword because he's the one doing the banishing very often. Squire, when it gets banished, you draw a card and you can then discard a card. Solitaire, if he gets banished, you can special summon 1 banished Shiranui, or I guess a zombie. What is it exactly? Target 1 banished Shiranui. Okay, so it is limited to a Shiranui, even though some of his effects say zombies or whatever. But this means if Solitaire is in your graveyard alongside a Spectral Sword, and you banish them both to Synchro Summon, which is what Spectral Sword does, then you can immediately use Solitaire's effect to special summon your Spectral Sword. And alongside, so you'd have 4 plus 2 is 6. So we'd have a Samurai Saga on the field. Your Spectral Sword would come on the field next to it, so then you can go immediately into a level 8, like Shogun Saga over here. Now, the rest of the deck is pretty much designed to be very protective. So we got a Sphere Karibo, we got a Cosmic Cyclone, Ballista Squad, we already talked about that one. Fiendish Chain, stop people from making plays. Floodgate Trap Hole, more just stopping people from doing things. Mirror Wall, it's going to have the attack of all your opponent's monsters when they attack. And it's going to stay that way until you don't pay for the 2,000 life points during your standby phase. So you could probably keep it on the field for 1 turn if you wanted to. Not completely necessary. Another good card, new card that we're running is Karma Cut. It allows us to discard 1 card, then target 1 face-up monster our opponent controls, banish it, and then banish all cards with the same name from their graveyard. This is a good way to just get rid of, like, say they have an Alistair in the graveyard, and they summon a second Alistair. then you can get rid of both of them, and then they might not have a third Alistair, because not everyone plays 3 Alistair, and all of a sudden they can't really make any invoked plays anymore. Plus, you can just do this to stop people's combos. It's just very useful overall. And then finally, we have a card that has become more popular recently, which is Void Trap Hole, and it's kind of like more Fiendish Chains is almost what you could equate it to. When your opponent special summons a monster with 2,000 or more attack, you can negate the effects of one of them. So it's like if your opponent's special summon 2, you can only negate one of them. But if you do that, its effects are negated and it gets destroyed. So it's a good way to just stop any big monster that your opponent has just summoned. It doesn't get its effects off. No Black Rose, none of that stuff. So then moving on, we get into our synchro cards. Now our core synchro cards are Samurai Saga. He's just a level 6. He doesn't have that many uses except for being a level 6 for you to go into. And if he ever gets banished, you can target one monster on the field and it will lose 500 attack. So this is good for trying to attack over people, because our other card here is Shogun Saga. And when Shogun Saga gets summoned, you can banish one zombie type from your graveyard. So you can banish Samurai Saga. Samurai Saga will trigger, lower someone's attack by 500, and then Shogun Saga gains the original attack of the Samurai Saga. So Shogun Saga is already a 3,000. He's gaining 2,500. He becomes 5,500. If you subtract 500 from something on your opponent's side of the field, all of a sudden you're doing a lot of damage. So you could lethal over someone who had an original attack of 2,000, which is fairly powerful. And then finally, our last Shiranui synchro is Sun Saga. Now, Sun Saga is the big boss monster, 3,500 attack. When you summon him, you can return synchro monsters that are in your graveyard or banished to the extra deck, and then destroy that many cards on your opponent's side of the field. Now, it has to be exactly equal. So, say you have 3 cards in your graveyard that you're trying to return, but your opponent only has 2 cards, you won't get to use the effect. You have to destroy 3 cards. And it has to be cards that your opponent controls. So if your opponent does not control enough cards, then you won't get the effect at all. So you got to make sure you do the right amount. So if you have 3 and your opponent only has 2 cards, you would only pick 2 to return to your extra deck. You don't want to pick all 3. And then when any zombie would be destroyed, right here, would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you could just banish a Shiranui monster from the graveyard instead, and it's just not destroyed. So Sun Saga is really annoying because you can't get rid of him. It's very difficult to get rid of him. And then we know Scrap Dragon. Scrap Dragon is easily replaceable with Revived King Hades or Hades, whatever you want to call him. I don't actually have that card, but he negates the effect of monsters that are destroyed by zombies, so he's very good. Scrap Dragon is just an alternative because it lets me pop cards on my side of the field and my opponent's side of the field, because I like to have my cards in the graveyard. So Revived King has a very similar requirement to Archfiend Zombie Skull, and it's a really like messed up requirement. Like, it's a Plague Spreader plus 2 or more non-tuners for a level 6 synchro. It's very, very difficult to summon, but Shiranuis don't care about that, because Spectral Sword just summons something from your extra deck that is equal to the 2 monsters that you banished, so it gets around Zombie Skull, because it's not a real synchro summon. It's just a special summon of a synchro monster, so you don't actually have to meet those requirements. And then Zombie Skull's effect, none of your face-up zombies can be destroyed by card effects. So his effect is very good. Hades also has a very good effect. He's going to have the same requirement, so you're going to need to summon him by using Spectral Sword and a level 4 in your graveyard. So that's pretty much the deck. We're going to go ahead and get into it. I've never played this deck, not a single game with this deck, but I am fairly confident that I can win and just show you exactly how easy this deck is to use. We're using level augmentation, The other possible skill that a lot of people are using is No Mortal Can Resist, which No Mortal Can Resist is really good against our deck, which means it's very good against people playing decks similar to it. And if you're playing No Mortal Can Resist, you probably just want to use more Cosmic Cyclones. Like, you can go up to 3 Cosmic Cyclones, because all you need to trigger No Mortal Can Resist is to have 1,000 less life points than your opponent. So here we already have some good protection. Trying to figure out exactly what we're going to do, because unfortunately he gets to go first. He could be playing Dark Magician. He's not. He's playing Destiny Heroes. We'll see what we actually draw, because we could also banish something. Like if we drew a Spectral Sword or a Squire, I think that would make this better. Or a Ballista Squad. Ballista Squad would also be very good. Okay, so there's the Squire. Now, the problem... Cannot target this card for attacks. So we're going to have problems getting past this Decider. So we probably want to get rid of him. How exactly do we want to do that? Because if we summon Squire... I think what we want to do is we want to put Karma Cut down. So we're going to go ahead and make our play first. Gonna go Squire, give us a Spectral Sword. And then we could level Og and go straight into Sun Saga. But then we won't get the pops. And Karibo's only level 1. So his level Og doesn't help us summon anything. Do we want to go for the Sun Saga immediately? I think it's probably a good call, because we can get rid of the Decider through other ways. So let's go ahead and activate our skill. And we're going to raise his level by 4. Let's summon Sun Saga. And we're already going to be able to deal a whole bunch of damage to our opponent. Plus, we're going to have a really good follow-up. Now, the plan here is to use Karma Cut to get rid of the Decider. And then to use Floodgate to get rid of anything else that might be annoying. So we'll go ahead and go Battle Phase. Hit his Drill Dark. Do half of his life points. And then if we can get the Solitaire into the graveyard by activating Karma Cut, then we would rather synchro with the Solitaire, so then the Squire comes back, or the Spectral Sword comes back onto the field. Now he's probably just, he's not leaving his Decider on the field. Very odd. We're gonna see what he does here. I mean, he has to summon an Anki, right? He doesn't have any choices. Anki's the only Dark Masked hero. Do we want to do that? I don't really see the point. If he goes in for life point damage, he might have another mask. And he could definitely avoid our Karma Cut if he has another mask. Okay, he definitely has another mask. It's currently asking him if he wants to use his mask. So I'm going to go ahead and Sphere Karibo him. Force him to use his mask right now. He is not using the mask? I mean, he can still use it now if he wants. Yeah, there you go. And now I will Karma Cut him. Now we could Floodgate him as well, but... So we can get rid of all of his Ankis, get our Solitaire into the graveyard. And now he's got one card. And it's pretty much over for him. So we just read the mask. If we had Karma Cut early, then he would have just been able to dodge it with the mask change. This way is a lot easier. He'll probably just surrender now. But we'll see, I suppose. He's really taking his time, huh? Alright, well, it seems like he may have hit the disconnect button. Unplugged his internet real quick. And there it is. Connection failed, of course. Very typical. Definitely believe that his connection failed there and not that he threw his phone out the window. So you can see the power already. It was very easy for us to clear out everything. We had an answer to everything he had on the field, including a double mask change hero start. Which double mask change is pretty good. That's how heroes are going to get a lot of their lethal plays. They're going to surprise people with too much damage from two Anki's attacking in one turn. And here we actually have the Karma Cut with the Spectral Sword in our hand, which is really good. So we can synchro, and then we'll have the use of two Spectral Swords the next turn. Can you? No, I guess you can't do that. You can't actually use his graveyard effect twice. But that's fine, we don't need it. We'll only be needing it once, I assure you. Plus, like this, we can actually go into our level 8. Because we can use the Spectral Sword to level augment. He's just doing nothing. Well then what do I want to do? Do we just go... How do you work? Do you banish anything? You can target one of your banished zombies. No. Banish one zombie. So I think we go for lethal with that. So we go Squire. Squire's gonna make it easier for us because we get the Spectral Sword out of our deck. Did I just pick the one from my hand? I did. God dang it. Okay, well then we can't actually do what I was gonna do. That is... I saw the icon at the last second. I thought the deck would be to the right and hand would be to the left. Oh my goodness. Do we just go for Sun Saga then? Yeah, we might as well. So we'll go ahead, level log. Go for Sun Saga here. That was a misplay. We could have had an attempt at lethal. I feel like he probably has a Kiteroid or a Sphere Karibo in his hand. But I definitely messed it up when I shouldn't have. He had nothing in his hand, so we could have lethaled him that turn. Completely my bad. Should not have done it that way. But I did, and that's how it goes sometimes. Although he might just, like, surrender, because I'm just going to Karma Cut whatever comes out here. He's running the Neo Blue Eyes skill, right? Does he really have 3 Blue Eyes in his hand? No, what the heck are you summoning? What is this card? So I don't even have to do this until he attacks. What do you do? Add 1 Spiral Spear Strike from your deck or graveyard to your hand. Change the battle position. Okay, so he's about to end his turn, so we're just going to go ahead and activate this. We know he has nothing in his hand. Karma Cut seems too strong. Just calling it right now. Karma Cut is a little crazy. So we obviously have the game. We can activate Spectral Sword's effect. We could get another banish on the Spirit Master there. So here's a good one. You just go into Zombie Skull. Activate the effect of Squire here. I guess we dropped the Phoenix Chain. That's okay. Just go ahead, lethal him. None of our cards can be destroyed by card effects right now. So that's pretty crazy. It didn't even look like that guy had a chance. Granted, I'm not exactly sure what he was playing. That's beside the point. Masked Heroes are good. That guy's deck, maybe not so good. The first one we versed, Masked Heroes right now are a top tier deck. If you use those new Vision Heroes, then you got yourself a top tier deck. If you're running 3 Ankis, 3 mask changes, maybe even a form change for a 4th mask change, you can do a lot of damage to someone. And a lot of direct damage, because Anki can attack directly. He halves his attack and attacks you directly, which is pretty stupid. So here we got a Sun Saga in hand. We also have our basic level 6 Synchro if we want to instead. And we got Void Trap Hole to protect us. I do think that level Og is very good. Should I go like this? From your hand or graveyard? So I could summon Solitaire here. And I could save Squire for next turn. So I think I just do that because then we have the option the option to either banish Solitaire or banish Spirit Master, depending on what we actually want next turn. Now they're all going to go in the graveyard, so it really doesn't matter what order we put them in. Oh, that banishes? Oh, he banishes because of Spirit Master's effect. I should have done that the other way. I didn't realize. Oh no, it wouldn't have banished Spirit Master. I should have tributed Spirit Master. Okay, okay. We're learning. Don't want to do that. We want to go for the level Og here. So yeah, make sure you tribute the Spirit Master, because the Spirit Master will go to the graveyard. I guess the Solitaire is getting banished either way. It's kind of hard to... You can't save the Solitaire there. Fair enough. We learn. Should have gone for the Squire play then in that case. And we'll go ahead, set these 2 cards. Got a follow-up play with Squire. And we got a Sun Saga on the field already. What on earth was that card? On this card, sent to the graveyard, look at the top of your deck. Return that card to either. Okay. Have a feeling that's not going to save you. So we're going to go ahead and end our turn. We got Void Trap Hole in case he summons anything we don't like. Cosmic Cyclone, get rid of stuff. So he's probably thinking that he has no idea what to do, which is fair. It's pretty tough to know what to do against this. So we can go for this play. This play is probably our best because then we pop his face down. Don't want to activate that. Probably should just turn that off right now. And we can go for the Archfiend. I turned off my toggle, so I didn't get to use my Spirit Master effect, huh? That's what happened there. Alright, you know. That's how it goes sometimes. Should we make more plays then? Yes, we should make some more plays. Let's just keep it on auto. Go ahead, activate this. Get rid of himself. He'll summon the Spectral Sword. Alright, we're making all the misplays right now, so then we'll know how to play the deck perfectly by the time it's actually relevant. And now we can go for the level 8. And level 8 is going to be able to do more than 4,000 damage. If we activate his effect here. We can also... might as well just banish this guy. We don't need to banish the other two right now. Don't want to activate that. Now, as long as this gets the kill and there's no... nothing? Alright, easy. This is the other thing, like, the fact that Shiranui can lethal with a single monster is dumb. That Shogun Saga is so powerful with his ability to easily be above 5,000 attack the turn he's summoned. It's just crazy. That other guy probably thought he was safe hiding behind his, what is that card? Like Arch Red Fiend something or other. I don't remember what that card's called, but that's okay. We win this one, we get to go up another dual level. Playing against some balance, huh? And you can see just the consistency of this deck. Every single hand is good. What do we do here? I think we go Squire. Because we can send the Solitaire to the graveyard with Karma Cut. And we can also just go straight into Sun Saga. I'm really liking this level Og. The ability to just go straight Sun Saga without having to worry about any of the other nonsense. And the reason we run a second Sun Saga is so we can do this. We could go our first Sun Saga and then just have like a beefcake on the field that no one can deal with. And then if we want to pop cards using Sun Saga's effect, next turn we just synchro into more things instead. So we summon our level 6 and then we go into our level 10 from there. So we got Floodgate, Trap Hole, Karma Cut. Now, the one thing about Karma Cut that we need to keep in mind is it only works on face-up cards. We could just immediately flip his Cosmo Brain down, which I think is what we're going to do. He's got a response. What? He has to have a card in his hand that he can play? Enemy Controller, huh? Okay. That's an interesting play. Now, does he have lethal, though? If he doesn't have lethal, then it doesn't matter. We'll just allow that. So we still got our Karma Cut, and we get our Sun Saga back. Now, we could either go Squire right now, or we can activate this effect. I think we activate this effect first. And that'll let us summon Zombie Skull. Activate Squire's effect. We might as well drop one of these. Probably want to drop Squire. We'll go ahead and place this. So now our cards can't be destroyed. Plus, even if they could be, we have a Squire in the graveyard to prevent even more destruction. So there was no reason to actually Karma Cut our own card there. It would have been really bad for us if we did have to Karma Cut it. So I would have always gone for any other card he had unless he had a way to increase the attack of our Sun Saga there. And I think that's going to do it for this first one with Shiranui's. We went completely undefeated over, what was it? 1, 2, 3, 4. It's only 4 duels. Okay, we spent the beginning of this one explaining, but still, undefeated in 4 duels. Didn't even look like we were going to lose any of them. Enemy Controller guy did some damage to us, but that's because we let him deal the damage to us. We had answers. So as you can see, this deck is pretty crazy. I'm going to keep playing this. We'll get to duel level 20 real quick with this one, and then we'll see where we go from there. But either way, hopefully you enjoyed. Definitely a deck to look out for in this KC Cup. If you have the engine, this engine right here with the Spectral Sword, you don't even need the Spirit Master, but he's nice to have if you want. This engine right here is so consistent. One card every single time to get you your synchros is crazy. Plus all of this back row that you can play. Extremely powerful, extremely consistent, very quick, strong deck. Either way, hopefully you enjoyed this one, and I will see you next time.